Welcome back. I'm your host, Ray Harris, and I want to join up with you in this next segment, looking whether or not all things are vanity. So again, join with me on my walk, and we're going to make our way. We're going to talk just a little bit, and where we get that idea is Ecclesiastes 1, verse 2. And in that, at least in the King James Version, it says, vanity, all is vanity. Everything is vanity. Of course, I'm paraphrasing it there. But I was doing some research on that verse. And I tend to really like the Greek. And so I've kind of looked back at the Greek. But I didn't want to just... And when I say Greek, you're thinking, Greek? How could that be? Well, there's a translation of the Hebrew Old Testament. And it's called the Septuagint. It's the Greek Old Testament. And there's a specific word there that those translators use to translate the Hebrew. So I kind of want to point at that, but I also wanted to bring out some other translations. So I'm kind of walking down here to where we've used this scene a little bit before for some of the other things that I've done and recorded. But I want to bring it out today because I want to ask the question with empirical evidence, I guess, practical experience. Is everything vain? And I don't know of any other way to do that than to show you where we are. If you take a look behind me, we've been here before. We've been in this area where there is some remains of a old building. I'm trying to turn to where you can see it. See back there? Is it really vain? Well, when that person, whoever it was, built this building, it was not vain. There was a purpose for this. So hold on just a moment. Take a look at this thing here. This is the building. This is where they were. This is where they lived. Maybe where they just stored things. But they had life here. There was life. And the only thing that's here now is, well, God's creation. Amongst the rocks that He created, where's the evidence of humanity except us walking through it? Are things vain? No, we cannot say that. So I want to bring out my scriptures because I want to go back to Ecclesiastes where it talks about all is vanity. And I want to use these different passages. I want to use these different translations of this text. One of them says this. The King James says, vanity of vanities. Saith the preacher, all is vanity. All right. Now, the Message, I kind of like the way the Message does this. It's very interesting. It says, smoke. Nothing but smoke. There's nothing to anything. It's all smoke. Is that all smoke back there? Take a look. That's not smoke. Those are rocks. But we think of smoke as being vapor and pointless and worthless. All right, the Holman Christian Standard says, absolute futility. Absolute futility. Everything is futile. Well, those of you who are sci-fi watchers may remember the phrase, resistance is futile. Is resistance futile? No, it is not, and neither is everything in life. The Today's New International Version translate the passage this way. Meaningless. Meaningless. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. When we look behind us and we look at and consider that old property, is it meaningless? Well, perhaps today, because it had a meaning at one point and it does not have a meaning now. How about, I like this one, the Contemporary English Version. Nothing makes sense. Everything is nonsense. I have seen it all. Nothing makes sense.